Well, good evening, everybody. It's a cold Sunday evening here in Michigan. We got snow going on to our north, and we do have just overall cold and cloudy skies here in the south. So, welcome to the stream. We're going to go over a few things with the week, temperatures, storms to watch. In particular, on Tuesday, we're watching a storm system working its way through the region. Let's go ahead and start. Go ahead and jump in here. I need to catch my bearings here. I hopped on here last minute, so I'm not fully prepared, but I think I got this. All right. So right now across the UP of Michigan, as well as north central Michigan, we have lighter snow. In the UP, we have heavier snow going on. That's going to accumulate up to around 10 to 12 inches of snow up in the UP, mainly through tomorrow morning. If you're in northern lower, you guys are just going to have a dusting to an inch of snow. Nothing to be concerned about with that if you're in the lower part of Michigan. So we're going to go ahead and look at the potential what the radar is going to look like. Running this through the time frame here, overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we're seeing that snow change over to rain for the majority of the UP by tomorrow afternoon. And then that rain starts to move into the lower Michigan area through the Monday afternoon, evening time frame into Tuesday. With this low pressure still hanging around, though, it's going to swing a cold front through the region. And what that's going to do, though, as well, because the system is so strong, it draws up warmth and moisture from the Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday. So here's your temperatures for the Tuesday time frame. This GFS model is a little bit lacking on what I think temperatures are going to be. I think we're going to be closer to the mid 60s, potentially high 60s. We may make a run towards 70 for both tomorrow, Monday, and also Tuesday. Can't forget tomorrow either. A big warm-up on its way for tomorrow. We see a widespread, at least 60 degrees here in the state, although some of the short-term models are saying 66, 67, widespread across lower Michigan. So a big warm-up tomorrow that lasts into Tuesday, but then a cold front swings through. But that cold front is also going to bring the chance of some showers and potential storms because it's a pretty sharp cold front here. What are we going to be looking at in terms of severe weather, though? That's still unclear, although we have a good idea. So right now, your SPC outlook is a marginal risk for extreme southwest Michigan. So St. Joseph, Cass, and Branch counties just barely nudging into the state. However, the latest model guidance that came out this morning through the afternoon does suggest a significant northward push of the instability overlap with wind shear. How far north are we talking? Let's go ahead and look at a few models. Now, the RRFS model has been the go-to model for me personally. It's nailed the past couple of systems. It's also handling what's happening now out to our west in both Wisconsin and also out in Oklahoma and Kansas areas where there's severe weather. The RRFS model is handling it really, very, very well. So we're going to go ahead and trust this model. All right. It was first to call out a few things today. It's first to call out the push northward. We're going to trust it. So in terms of how far north we're going to have storm fuel, let's go ahead and look at this. Okay, here's your Michigan map overlaid here with your surface instability in blue. Okay, this is going to be Tuesday at 1 p.m. We see a good push of instability into southwest Michigan, but if we continue this through the time frame, here's 2 p.m., we see it extending further north into Mount Pleasant areas up toward Ludington. So it's a significant northward push. It's not a lot of instability, but it's enough to make us go, okay, if we get storms in this environment, we have to watch those closely. It's nothing that's going to pop these storms off like, boom, they're off. It's not significant instability, but there is going to be, enough there to make severe weather possible. So this is going to be the Tuesday afternoon time frame, and then that is going to push eastward. I expect the threat to be highest the further west you are. As the instability is the highest, it starts to weaken as we get into the evening hours towards sunset. So overall, the southern part of Michigan is going to be on alert here, and also central parts of Michigan, more so to the west side of the state. But if you're on the east side over toward Detroit, over through the Thumb, Flint, Port Huron, Port Austin, those areas, be on alert for right now. This model in particular does not really show too much happening over there. It has instability weakening here, but overall it's a threat to watch nonetheless. Now, in terms of what the potential radar could look like, it's still a bit too far out to lock anything down, but I will show you guys what we're seeing here on the RRFS. We see a line of storms on the cold front here that's going to push through the area. This is 3 p.m. I'll go ahead and back this up here. We see these storms out in Illinois here develop. This is 1 p.m. Here's 2. There's 3. There's 4. Here's 5. It develops into a nice little line there. And there's 6 p.m., 7, and 8. Now, instability is going to be its highest when it's over here in the west part of the state. So early afternoon, 1 p.m. over toward 4 or 5 p.m., I expect to be the prime time, so to speak, prime time for severe weather if we're going to get any. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Overall, it's a system to watch here. I do expect the SPC to lift that marginal risk further north at the 2 a.m. outlook tonight. The threats with this would be primarily damaging winds. Okay. There's a lot of wind shear with this, although the wind shear that we do have is not favorably oriented for tornadoes. It's more so oriented for damaging straight line winds, but also could organize some hail as well. If we get more instability, I'd be more concerned potentially for an isolated tornado threat. But right now, I don't see that happening unless we have a significant shift of instability that is more than modeled, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. But overall, just keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on it here. We'll have updates tomorrow. Like I said, expect the SPC to upgrade this risk into Michigan a bit further north. But yes, strong winds are your highest threat with this. Now, that's Tuesday. Let's go ahead and go throughout the remainder of the week here, going back to the temperature graph. Here's Tuesday. We look at the temperatures that are warmer. They hop out of the region. We have a return of cold air on Wednesday, although the warm air to the south does battle this pretty well. I think we're going to stay pretty much mild into Wednesday. Going back into the Thursday timeframe, I think, again, the warm air wins out. And also through the weekend, the warm air returns. Another system to watch at the end of the week. Nothing severe at this point, nothing snow at this point, but it does show some signs of a system developing near our area. So we'll have to watch for that for some rain chances. But overall, the next significant system we're kind of watching is in early April, towards the April 3rd, April 5th timeframe. But the takeaway from this is just one more day today, and then also probably Wednesday will be the coldest day of the week. Otherwise, we are looking to be 40s, 50s, and 60s pretty much all week. Now, looking at the long term, we do see a few signs that winter is over. And what I mean by that is winter has kind of been over, in my opinion, although we did have a snow system move through, dumped about 5 to 6 inches in some spots. But overall, this is your cold temperature, the anomaly map, so to speak. So the blue temperatures, the green temperatures, or the colors, should I say, indicate colder temperatures. And then the warmer yellows and oranges are warmer temperatures. So this is your current status here. In Michigan, we have the blue overlapping here. But if we look through the region, or look off to the west here, to the colder air that's out there, that diminishes. And then all of a sudden, we're back in the warmer than average for the first week of April. We go ahead and move this through the entire April timeframe. We stay normal or above normal in terms of temperatures here the entire month of April. Okay. What does that mean? Basically simplifying this, it means we are done with cold air according to this model. We do have some other models we can look at, but overall, I've been trusting the GEFS Ensemble extended model. It's been pretty accurate so far this year. Overall, warmer temperatures are here to stay. I think we are done with the significant cold. I think we've been saying it for a few days or a few weeks. I think it's official after this weekend. This is the last of the brutally cold air. It's been a pretty mild winter, honestly. It's not really brutal. But overall, I think we are heading into much warmer temperatures for spring. And that is also supported by the Arctic Oscillation. We look at this every week. That line does stay above the middle line here, which is neutral. As long as that stays above into the positive area, we are looking for warmer temperatures. The negative part would be a bit colder temperatures. We stay pretty much above. It dips down here later into April. However, by the time April rolls around, our average temperature is above 60 degrees here in Michigan. So at that point, we're not looking for significant cold. We might be looking at 40s or so. Overall, I think we are out of the woods in terms of winter. But if you're in the UP, though, we could see some systems still trying to make some snow the further north we are. But overall, for the majority of you guys who are watching who live down here in the lower peninsula, I think it's safe to say any significant winter weather or cold is over. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the butt, but I just wanted to say that for you guys. So with that being said, that's all I got for you. Upcoming week is going to be pleasant. In terms of temperatures, just got to watch the Tuesday time frame here for some potential for severe weather here. Any questions, guys? Yes, Ben, good question here. What is the moisture content looking for Tuesday? One of the things we're going to be watching closely with this system is the instability. Now, instability is basically, simplifying it, is your temperature and your moisture combining with heating and stuff like that. So overall, temperatures look decent, mid 60s, mid to upper 60s, sufficient for severe weather. However, moisture is kind of lacking with this. So one thing we're going to be watching is our moisture, modeled moisture. It has been overperforming the past couple of systems we've had. So you got to keep in mind what model we're looking at, but also overall how much moisture is going to be there for severe weather. I think it'll be a battle. It's not going to be known probably until the morning of. I do think that there's going to be sufficient moisture available, though. We're looking at probably low to mid 50s dew points, which is marginally sufficient. We'll get the job done. I would say after Wednesday, Julie, I mean, the evening temperatures are still going to be probably in the 30s, but high temperatures are probably going to be in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So take the information as you will. We're probably still going to be looking at a few nights below freezing here, but overall, I think we are done with winter weather. Brandy, yes. So with this passing cold front system, even if the storms do not have enough instability to become severe, that cold front is pretty sharp and also very windy. So regardless of any storms or showers, I still think there's a significant wind risk. Probably going to have a wind advisory, maybe 40, 45 mile per hour gust possible throughout the state. This is going to be again for Tuesday. And then any showers or storms that do develop along that cold front, if any do develop, they will just enhance bringing that wind down to the surface. So it just kind of enhances the overall severe risk there as well, which is also kind of why we're more so concerned for this, just because those wind profiles are pretty impressive along that cold front. What's the best? Okay, Tony asked what the best model for wind gust is. You can look at a plethora of them. I'll just go ahead and use the HRRR. It does go out to 2 p.m. on Tuesday, so we'll get a good idea of the wind gust here. I do expect it to be pretty gusty here. I haven't looked at this. Move this through the time frame. Yeah, there you go. There's your wind gust in Michigan for Tuesday morning. This is going to be in knots. So we're looking about 40 to 45 knots across Michigan here. That's going to be out of the south-southeast. Okay. So what that's going to do with that cold front is basically just going to go ahead and enhance any type of storm. It's going to have a highly sheared environment to work winds down to the surface. So expect probably, I'm not going to say probably, but I would expect some type of advisory to be issued to account for this wind. Any questions, guys? Turn off the wind. Seems like it's been on. Okay, seems like it's been pretty windy lately. Yeah, it has been. Honestly, the past couple of days have been pretty windy here in the state. No problem, Brandy. Statewide, Clinton. The wind is going to be pretty much statewide. The model here is pretty much overlapping the entire state of Michigan in those purple colors. So you guys might not be able to see them, but pretty much the entire state here gets wind at some point. I'll zoom in so you guys can see the numbers, hopefully. I'm seeing 37, 41, 43, 42. This is in knots. So above that, probably like 45, 50 mile per hour gusts likely on Tuesday. Is Muskegon looking at rain or storms? Potentially both. Yes, clouds are going to stay tonight for the lunar eclipse. There is a lunar eclipse tonight, surprisingly. I didn't know about that personally. I was more so focused on the aurora chances tonight, but both look to be clouded over. So unfortunately, I'm not going to see either one. Do you feel the system might go further north into the state, like much of the Detroit area? It's possible, Megan. If you're just joining us, we do have, I'll go back here to show you guys this. We do have instability, which is just going to be your storm fuel. It is showing up further to the north than what it was last night, which is also probably why the SPC didn't want to extend this risk further north into Michigan. So I do expect this risk to be pulled further north. I'm not sure how far, probably up toward Grand Rapids, Alma, Flint area, I'm going to expect. But looking at the models that have come out this afternoon and today, this blue right here is your instability. Doesn't look too high right now, although it is right around 500 joules of surface-based CAPE, which is right around what we look for to get severe weather. So anything over 500, which is showing up in spots here in Michigan, would be supportive of severe weather, which is kind of why we're kind of watching this more so closely. Couple that with your good wind shear profiles. It's just a recipe for damaging winds. Elizabeth, I'm going to go ahead and say probably. I'm not going to say widespread, but I'm going to probably say isolated to scattered power outages likely with the winds, regardless of any severe weather. Yeah, Joshua, I would expect that. Looking at the forecasted radar, we are seeing a good push of storms into the state here. I can find this really quickly. There it is. Looking at the potential radar here, here's our line of storms we're going to be watching. There's 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Pretty much the entire lower peninsula of Michigan here is in this line, which is probably going to be really gusty. Honestly, regardless of severe weather or not, it's going to be really gusty along that line as it passes through. So I would expect there to be at least some severe wind gusts tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Tuesday, with this line passage. Do we expect tornadoes? As of now, I'm going to say it's a very low threat, although I'm not going to rule that out completely. I would like to see instability higher than 500 joules, more so toward 1,000. If we can get towards 1,000, I'd be more concerned for tornadoes. But right now, it's a low chance, not zero, but low. Yeah, Brandy, we really can't predict power outages. They're so not isolated. They're so random. It's hard to predict, but all we can really say is with the winds, we would expect there to be at least some type of outages around the state. What do you mean by that, Blake? There's a lot of different types of wind shear. There's 1 kilometer, 3 kilometer, 6 kilometer, 8 kilometer. There's directional. There's unidirectional. Like, what kind of shear are we talking about here? The overall shear profiles are off, not gonna say off the charts, but they're quite strong. It's snowing here in northern Michigan right now. The roads are not good. We predicted that yesterday. Depends on where you're at, though. We predicted the UP and potentially toward the Gaylord area, maybe northwest Michigan toward Ludington, Traverse City areas. Might be getting some 1 to 3 inches of snow or so. But overall, it looks like the snow is staying pretty much, the heavier snow, should I say, is staying pretty much toward the UP, not diving too far into lower Michigan. 1 kilometer or 3 kilometer shear. All right, Blake, let's go ahead and do this. For those of you who probably are going to look at this and go, what are you looking at? We call this a forecast sounding. Go look back here. This is going to be really confusing to some of you, but I'm going to answer this guy's question here. He's asking how much wind shears are going to be in the first and third kilometers. So wait for this to load up. I'll go ahead and answer that for you, Blake. Here we go. 46 knots in the first kilometer, and it says 61 knots in the third. So it's quite eyebrow raising, so to speak. Those numbers also might be overdone as well. I do think that there is a chance we could be looking closer probably to 30 knots at the first kilometer and 45 to 50 at the third. Either one, though, is sufficient for severe wind gusts. The RRFS is saying 20 knots at the first kilometer and 40 at the third kilometer. 74 knots at 6 is really good. So baseline for the 6 kilometer is 35 knots. We have 74. Just to give you guys an idea, we have almost double the amount we would like to see for severe weather. But again, just because wind shear is high does not mean severe weather is guaranteed. A lot more goes into it than just looking at wind shear. April, I would say Jackson is in the threat. It's currently not in the SPC risk, although I do expect that to be updated tonight. I would expect that to be moved further north. Looking at models and everything right now, I would expect Jackson to be in a severe threat of low end, like a marginal risk, come tomorrow morning. Yeah, Teresa, I don't think we're going to see many tornadoes, if any at all, with this. It doesn't. This setup does not scream tornadoes. At least right now, it doesn't. This is probably going to be more so a line of storms producing a lot of wind, maybe some hail with it. Um, that's what my concern is right now. It looks to be more of a widespread basis too, just because the wind shear profiles and that line that's projected on models is quite large. So I could see damaging wind gusts all throughout the state along that line. But again, instability is going to help this a lot too, further south. Wayne County, number one, Wayne County is a little bit further east right now than I like to see. The instability is shown to die out by the time it gets over to the east side. However, that cold front is quite strong. So if any showers, even just rain showers, develop along that cold front, I could expect I would expect there to be at least some form of gusty winds, maybe not severe, but maybe like 40 to 50 mile per hour types of gusts throughout the state. So yeah, I would expect Wayne potentially to be in a severe threat, but right now I think it's highest off to your west. Same thing applies for your area, Joey. Metro Detroit is on the east side of the state. I would be more so concerned for severe weather to the west side of the state. The further west you go, the higher that chance becomes. That could change, though, although modeled instability does not look to be very strong over on the east side for right now. Yes, Jay, Battle Creek would be included in this. Yeah, so timing on this, go ahead and back this up. Right now, it's early afternoon. So backing this up to when we first look at the storms, this is going to be noon. This is noon right here. We see storms off over towards Chicago. We're going to bump this forward to 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Here comes that line, 3 p.m. So right around 2 to 3 p.m., we would expect that line in the west part of the state. Pushes east-northeast very quickly, 50 to 60 mile per hour storm movements. Okay, so we go from just onshore at 3 p.m. to basically entering Lansing toward Mount Pleasant by 4 p.m. One more hour forward, we're heading toward Flint, heading toward Hillsdale, Jackson, those areas. So it's a very quick moving line. This is 6 p.m. There's 7 p.m. There's 8 p.m. Clears the state by 9 p.m. So roughly 1 to 9 p.m. We'll go ahead and say 1 to 10 p.m. just to kind of cover it in case it's a little bit slower than or a little bit earlier. 1 to 10, west to east. Adam, I'd say so, yeah. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to go ahead and ask. Get those answered. And if not, I'll go ahead and hop off here. Yeah, Sarah. So the further north you go towards that Flint area, I would expect there to be a lesser of a chance. Also further east, I would still think you would have a threat with that line that passes through for some gusty winds, but I think the overall threat for severe weather is going to be highest off to your south and west. As of right now, that could change as we get new data coming in. So we'll have to kind of watch that. But right now, if you're probably east, if you guys know where the highways are here, east of 127 towards Lansing, toward Jackson area, up toward Mount Pleasant, if you're east of that line, I'd expect there to be a lower threat for severe weather than it would be further west of that 127 corridor. Roughly, Marissa, between, we'll go ahead and say 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. for Detroit. This is not a threat that I'm going to say, freak out over or adjust your plans. This isn't a threat that's, screaming at us, so to speak, but it is a threat nonetheless. And it does appear to be a pretty more of a widespread type of threat because this line extends, currently modeled as of right now, extends pretty much the entire state. With that wind shear profile on the cold front, I would expect it to be widespread, gusty winds at the very least, with isolated severe. But wind gusts, we're used to that here. Nothing too major as of right now. Not really expecting much of a tornado threat to develop. You could see one in the state, I'm going to say, but I just don't think the chance as of right now is not very high. Ann Arbor would be in a lower threat, although I do think the entire state does have a gusty wind threat, just highest off to the south and west. The rest of the week, Deborah, after Wednesday, does look to be right around 40 or 50 degrees for the majority of the state. Further north, obviously, is a little bit cooler. Looking at precip chances, though, we did not do that through the time frame. Go ahead and do that really quickly. There's your low pressure. There's Tuesday's system moving through. After that, though, we remain dry. The UP has some snow showers. There's Thursday. Here's Friday. So that weekend system we were talking about starts to develop. We were talking about that very, very briefly. We're not going to talk about that too much. It looks pretty weak. Just some passing rain showers at this point. That changes. We'll let you guys know. And there's Saturday. And then into Sunday, just some scattered rain showers and some snow showers do remain. But that April 3rd-ish time frame is a system to watch here. Looks to be a little bit warmer than expected for that time frame. I know the GFS model here is showing snow, but I don't think it's going to be too much to worry about with that. But I would more so be concerned about the rain potential storm chance for that system. So Cheryl, the non-thunderstorm wind gusts for Tuesday will be between probably 40 and 50 miles per hour. If we get any type of shower or storm, that's just going to aid in bringing the stronger winds down to the surface. So I'm going to say between 40 and 50 expected. That's going to be just because it's a windy system. Storms, though, 60 miles per hour, 65 probably would be the high end. Any estimates on the weather for the eclipse on April 8th? So tomorrow, the GFS model comes into range in terms of cloud cover. However, being that we are 365 hours out from that happening, I don't think it's very wise or valid that we should start looking at. We can look at those maps, sure, but take them with a grain of salt. That's what I'm trying to say with that. Like, we can look at cloud cover maps all day, but it has probably a 10% chance of being accurate that far out. I'm not sure can we go that far already? We might be able to. We can. So April 8th, here's Monday, April 8th. Right now, it does look to be clear of precip at least, but look at our cloud cover here. Well, it looks clear for now. That black area here, that's clear skies. The white is clouds. So again, this is going to change. But right now, it's showing clear skies, at least for southern Michigan here, as well as Ohio and Indiana, where the totality is going to be. So take it with a grain of salt. If we go back one model run, I'm sure it'll be different. Yeah, there's your last model run there. You see it's clouds. So this is why we don't like to look at long-term data, just because this is what you're going to have. It's clear one run and cloudy the next. Yes, Matthew. I would expect there to be a marginal risk, a low-end risk that gets extended further north. There is currently one for extreme southern Michigan there for Cass, St. Joseph, and Branch counties. Although I would expect that to be pulled further north toward Grand Rapids, Alma, and Flint at least. And that's going to be for damaging winds primarily. I don't think tornadoes are going to be that high of a threat with this. Could see some hail, but I think the wind is going to be the main dominant concern with this system, just because the wind shear profiles are pretty good. We'll say that. All right, guys, with that being said, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. Recap one more time. Snow ongoing right now for the UP and parts of north central lower Michigan. That's going to change over to rain by tomorrow afternoon, potentially morning earlier. That's going to change over to rain. It's going to rain pretty much all day Monday night into Tuesday. We could see some breaks throughout. Tuesday, a cold front comes through, sparks some showers, potentially some storms that may be Severe, not a huge threat. Nothing we're going to be, telling you guys to, adjust your plans, something like that. But these storms may be gusty. There's a lot of wind shear here, but there's also very little instability to work with. But we do think there's going to be just enough to get some of those storms to become severe, or at least the potential to become severe. That's going to be for Tuesday. Time frame is 1 p.m. on the west side of the state, clearing the state by 9 p.m., 10 p.m.-ish. So 1 to 10 p.m. is our time frame for you guys. Winds are your primary threat. Hail is your secondary threat. And a low chance of a spin-up tornado would be in there as long as we get sufficient instability and also moisture returns. Rest of the week does appear to be a bit cooler Wednesday, although it warms back up for Thursday, Friday before our system moves in for Saturday, Sunday. That system late week toward the weekend is pretty weak. Just be some passing rain and or snow showers. Long term, it's going to be looking a little bit warmer for April. Would not expect there to be any significant winter weather further south, but in the UP, still a possibility throughout the first part of April at least. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.